Tralee, population almost 14,000 people, home of what claims to be Ireland's biggest weekly provincial paper, the Kerryman. Read throughout Kerry, large areas of County Cork and parts of Limerick. Circulation, 43,900 copies. But operating almost under its nose over the past year is a cocky local rival, published out of the basement of this private house in Tralee. It's the creation of Pádraig Kennelly, writer, photographer and self-styled troubleshooter. A year ago he knew almost nothing about printing or publishing. Now, helped by his wife and 4 young sons, he handles the entire process of getting out a good-sized giveaway paper once every week.
Well, Tralee had a very big flood in November '73, and like many of the other people in town, we were out of business for a couple of months. We were probably hit more because the machinery is so sophisticated that the flood water was really damaged, and even when we got it going again, we had more breakdowns and more breakdowns. So it eventually took 3 months to get machines rolling. So at that time I said that I felt the action had been so little following the flood that the townspeople themselves had accepted it as a way of life, and it would happen again, it would happen again, and they'd adopted the attitude they'd no longer use the bottom shelves of their shop. And to me this is such a defeatist attitude that somebody had to speak out and try and rise them up again.
Kerry's Eye specializes in crusades, campaigning on local issues ranging from flooding to this kind of problem being covered by Pádraig's wife, Joan. A corner butcher shop in danger of collapse because it's being continuously struck and damaged by passing lorries. The irreverent editorial style is in sharp contrast to the more conventional approach of the Kerryman. Nevertheless, the deputy editor, Tony Mead, reads the opposition each week.
Well, I think every newspaper man will check every other paper.
The fact that it can be more iconoclastic, Kerry's Eye, can launch big campaigns, does that impinge on you?
No, not really. I would think that if you were to say it was strident, yes, but we prefer to treat things as they are, not as we think they are.
Do you think that a small paper, nevertheless, by persistently goading officialdom and pressing on, campaigning on the one issue, say the big flooding problem, can perhaps get more done at a local level?
If nothing were being done, I would think so. But in actual fact, the problem was in hands. It was an ongoing business dealing with the flooding. I wouldn't say that press pressure, either from the Kerryman or from Kerry's Eye, speeded it up in any way. It was something that simply had to be done.
We had a flood in November '73, but we predicted that we'd have another flood. The engineer said, no, Tralee's finished with flooding. Wham, January this year we had a whopper again, we were out of business again. You know, I don't take pleasure out of being right in my predictions like that. And then we really tore in. So we want more action, and now we're getting it.
Kerry's Eye's biggest advantage at a time of unparalleled publishing cost rises is that it's a family newspaper in the literal sense. Every phase of the editorial and publishing process is handled by the family, from Joan, whose central concern is advertising, to 4-year-old Kerry, the copy boy.
The most important job, I suppose, economically is advertising. Joan collects that from the traders around town. So we don't take in outside town advertising, because we feel it's a community paper. And we refuse advertising from Killarney and other towns, because we feel if you start doing that, you're anti-town. And our role all the time is pro-town, pro-people. And she does that in a round of the shop. Some of the adverts are on contract for a year. They buy space for a year and they change the content. That we like best, because it leaves us the best amount of freedom to get on and produce a better paper. Pádraig, the eldest son, he prints the paper, helps lay it up, and he does most of the mechanical end of it. He's quite good, and he handles it alone. He wants to get me out the way. Jerry is the Collector General. He'd be the equivalent of Bedford in the income tax department. He collects the money and assists in getting it regularly.
What's it like for you living this kind of life?
I'm used to it because we're in use since 1956, and it's just the change from the national to the local scene. And I prefer the local scene. You get more involved.
But the pace, don't you find it frightening?
Not really. The pace is more or less the same, except there's less travel involved.
But you do have to run a family, and how do you find the boys being so totally involved in this kind of work?
Well, the boys are totally involved once they can talk. By 3 years of age, in this house, they have to be, otherwise you're not in.
Kerry's Eye represents a huge investment for a family like the Kennelys. It also demands total commitment from them. Corey Kennelly admits there are these drawbacks, but insists it's worth it to get across what he believes in.
Have you made mistakes?
Oh, sure. Make mistakes all the time. You see, you can't talk down to the people. And this is something you find quite a lot in both television and in the standard press. You must talk to them as one of themselves. And because we find here that people have a very high IQ, the average person in Tralee. They can understand the intricacies of house purchase, complicated aspects of local government. They communicate with our paper. We've opened the door to them. I'd say before our paper started, you could not find one person in 100 in Tralee that could name the 12 members of the Urban Council.
The Kerry man, of course, may never worry about Kerry's Eye as a rival. But has its coverage of the Tralee scene been influenced by what the little paper has been doing?
Well, we find it very interesting because, as you probably know, the small town newspaper with very small circulation is very common in the United States, but they operate in a much richer area than Kerry or Tralee, and they can depend very heavily on supermarket advertising, that kind of thing. We don't think that that kind of basis exists in Tralee.
This is the big moment in the Kennelly Family Week, the run-off, the printing of 7,000 copies of Kerry's Eye on their pride and joy, a spanking £30,000 investment. It cannot, of course, compare to the nearby massive operation of the Kerryman with the latest in plant and machinery. However, a little one like Kerry's Eye has certain advantages.
What's your wage bill, for example?
Not a penny. I draw no wages. No one draws any wages. The money comes in, it goes to the bank, it pays the house purchase, and there's never anything left. You know, it's that simple. One day there might be, like, you know, but at this stage of the game, no. But we have a target of expenses and money, and if we keep going, we can win, you know.
They have even improvised a simple but very effective system of distribution. Organized by son number 3, Brendan, the paper batches are first brought through to the dispatch room and folded. And then, once a week, out goes what's known locally as Kennelly's Army, spreading through the town, leaving bundles at fixed points on every block, where the residents distribute them amongst themselves. And amongst these people are 4 urban councillors. At a time of acute crisis in the publishing industry, it's difficult to say if Kerry's Eye can remain viable. But whatever happens, it's already assured of a place in Kerry folklore. We will hardly see its likes again.